Yeah, hi everybody. Today I'm going to show you a new plugin and it's based on a, let's say, kind of niche legendary unit. It's the Yamaha TG-100. That was a General Midi sound module from the 90s. So to those of you who are a little bit younger than I am and have not grown up on General Midi based instruments, let me explain a little bit. So end of the 90s, everybody was playing games on PCs. So depending on the sound card that you had inside your PC, your computer would sound different to the computer of your neighbor. For example, when you played a game, a video game, and you had a Turtle Beach sound card in it, for example, then it would sound different than the Sound Blaster sound card of the computer that your neighbor had. So depending on the device that you had for sound in connection with your PC, the PC would just sound different. And so people got to compete, sort of, to find the best sound possibility for their computer. And then that was a thing for manufacturers like Yamaha, like Korg, like Roland, like Kawai. And they all did these small compact sound modules. And one of these was the Yamaha TG-100. For a long time, after that time was over and nobody was thinking about General Midi anymore, I mean, really, who of us does it right now? These modules were sold for extra cheap prices and you could get them for a bargain. But these days, they are in fashion again. And these days, people are looking for those modules again. Some of those modules have earned a cult following, you could say, and the Yamaha TG-100 definitely is one of those modules. So why is that? It is because it has a very special sound, it has very special waveforms, which are slightly reduced in bit quality, so they have a little bit of a grainy texture in the highs. And also the TG-100 slightly compresses the waveforms that are put out on the keyboard, and so it has a very unique sound, but maybe comparable to early samplers, early PCM synthesizers. However, we don't want to speak about the TG-100 as an instrument today. We want to speak about its effects unit, which is a part of the TG-100. So the Dutch company MARTINIC, who is the author of such great plugins like the AX73 synthesizer, the Keybase, which has become a favorite for many because it is a free plugin. If you haven't got it, check it out. The AX Chorus, the AX FX, the LK Panther organ plugin, the scanner tremolo or vibrato. So MARTINIC has a lot of great plugins out there, and I can only recommend checking out their product catalog. And one of the newest plugins that they have is the TG-100 Reverb. So what they have here is only the reverb unit of the TG-100 sound module put in a plugin. So why should I need something like that? Every plugin of my DAW can do it basically. Well, let's say that the TG-100 didn't have the most extensive reverb unit, but it had a really unique sounding reverb unit. It is one of those late 90s digital reverb units that had a specific sound. It cuts the highs. It compresses the sound slightly. It takes away harsh frequencies. It takes away harsh transients. So this is quite a cool reverb, although you can't do a lot of it in terms of settings. You gotta hear it. And so that's what we're gonna do now. We dive right into the plugin and I show you how it sounds. Okay, here we are with the TG-100 Reverb Processor, which is a new plugin by MARTINIC. So, as I told you before, this is the built-in reverb processor from the TG-100 sound module from Yamaha. It's basically sound module built in the 90s, and so this reverb is also bringing you the original 1990s character. So there's not much to see here, which is a good thing because this reverb unit is really easy to use. Here we have a power knob and we can switch it on and off. As you can see, this power knob also says bypass when we lay the mouse cursor over it, and so that's exactly what it does. It bypasses the reverb as a whole in the channel. Then we have a send knob. Here we can dial in different send values for the reverb. That means how much is the reverb mixed in to the original sound, up to 8. 8 is the highest level. Then we have type. These are the original reverb types from the TG-100, Hall 1, Hall 2, Room 1, Room 2, Plate 1, Plate 2, Delay 1, Delay 2. That's it. Really easy. And as a rule of thumb, we can say that the 1, like here, Room 1 is the small reverb, and Room 2, that's the bigger reverb. So we can say Room 2 is a bigger room than Room 1. Again, as a rule of thumb, in the delay section, it's a little bit different, but anyway, you get it. Then we have the reverb time, which means how long is the reverb tail. You can also dial this in. Then we have the reverb level, which means how loud is the reverb in comparison to the original sound that we are playing together with the reverb, and which we want to have the reverb on. So, and then we have this wet dry knob, which you also know from several other reverb plugins. This one was not originally on the TG-100 sound module, and I think this send knob is a relic of the original TG-100 sound module. Of course, if you have a built-in reverb unit, such a send knob makes a lot of sense, but for us, who we are working only with Reverb Processor at the moment, we will concentrate on the dry wet knob, and I think we will be absolutely sufficient going with that. If you like this fancy user interface, which actually looks like a TG-100 looked in the 1990s, that's fine. If you want to have a little bit more of a sober user interface, you can click on settings, and there you go. Here is the typical Martinic user interface. You will be familiar with that from all the other effects and instruments that Martinic has, and I pretty much like this because it takes away the optical distraction and gives you a much more sober interface to work with. But let's switch back to the more fancy looking one. And the last thing that I wanted to show you is that we also have presets over here. So we can check back if here's the default setting. Then we have medium hall, large room, medium room, etc., etc. Nothing super special here. Then we have canyon. Canyon is a reverb that is very long, very washy. We have tiled room, which sounds like if you would be playing in a bathroom or so. Then we have spring tank, which sounds actually like a spring reverb. And then long plate, slapback delay. I don't think I have to explain a ping pong delay, which is something that you are perfectly used to. So easy easy presets over here, easy settings over there. So that's actually what the TG-100 is really good in. It's super easy to use. You can immediately start with it and now see how it sounds. Okay, now let's hear what the TG-100 Reverb Processor has to offer in terms of sound. I chose another Martinic product for checking out. It's the AX73, the flagship synthesizer from Martinic plugins that was created after the Akai AX73, but also with functions of the AX60, AX80. So that is really a cool plugin. And as you can hear, we have an init sound going on. So that is the sound that you get from the synthesizer without any plugins or without any effects on it. Of course, this AX73 has a built-in reverb by itself. But on the init sound, we don't have it on. So this is a very dry, sawtooth kind of sound. So let's just switch on the TG-100. We have the default setting with a hall 1. And there you go. Already you can hear that this is really a very nice 90s hall sound. Okay, and let's check some of the presets. Medium hall. Large hall. And you can hear all this beautiful aliasing what's going on in the hall flag. So this is absolutely not a clean reverb, and that is supposed to be not a clean reverb because it has a distinctive 90s character. In the 90s, reverbs were not as clean as they are today. For example, for the TG-100, I think they had 12 bits reverbs back then, and so it's kind of nasty a little bit and kind of grainy. And that's just what you want for a 90s reverb, and I will show you later how it sounds on FM piano, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And so we can check out a few more presets. For example, I very much like this hard plate. Yeah, very cool. Stereo delay. Pretty cool. Tiled room. I think this would sound really cool with guitar, probably. Also, the spring reverb for guitar is just the kind of thing. Then slapback delay. Ping pong. Yeah, really nice. And then the star of the show, to my point of view, it's the Canyon reverb, which is a reverb with an extra long hall flag, very washy. Ooh. Absolutely fantastic. And how that sounds with original FM e-piano, I show you in a minute. So here we have the TG-100 in connection with hardware. I have plugged in my trusty TX7, which is basically a Yamaha DX7, as a convenient desktop sound module from 1985, and it didn't have internal effects. So if you get one of these typical and very famous FM pianos that the TX7 or DX7 can do, like this. So it sounds very cool, but of course it's super dry. No hall at all. So this changes when we switch on the TG-100 and get the whole one. It's gorgeous. It's just the right sound for such a kind of e-pianos. It's great. I mean, it's just what you need. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. But what I wanted to sound you is the Canyon setting. So this is the preset Canyon. You remember this is the one with a super long hall flag, and in connection with e-piano, it's absolutely sensational. And now listen to this hall flag. Isn't it beautiful? I mean, yeah, so very quick, this was the TG-100. You can use it with vocals, with guitar, with synthesizer hardware, synthesizer software. There are so many possibilities to get the reverb sound of the 90s to your computer with all this sorts of beautiful aliasing which is going on there. So that is absolutely what you want. And yeah, I think that's all for the moment, and hope that Martinic also brings out the complete TG-100 as a sound module plugin. If that happens, I'll be back for sure and show you the complete TG-100 plugin. I think there should be so much to discover there. But for the moment, this was it with the Reverb Processor. I am UAP. Go check out my music on Spotify and all the other streaming services, or on Bandcamp, where there's also a CD that you can buy. And otherwise, have fun with my YouTube channel. See ya.